opposed to it to say what's popular and what's not. But TV is definitely one of the main ways that people's thinking is manipulated by even just like an entertainment show, like, you know, any show, really, sitcoms or anything like that. They all have elements of programming that they really stick out for me. I mean, it's very difficult for me to suspend my, you know, how you got to suspend your belief or your judgment or whatever it's called in order to enjoy like a sci-fi show or something. You are under the impression that it's not real. You got to kind of pretend like it is for a little while in order to enjoy the show. But mine's kind of been like it, you know, I mean, I suppose I can, but it's still, it sticks out for me. And so watching a movie with me, it's kind of, I mean, I guess I could shut up for a little while, but usually I feel like I need to point out the parts and why they're there and what they've been placed there for. It's just sticks out to me like, you know, more than anything really in the movie. So I suppose I can, you know, enjoy a movie with suspending my belief, but I think it's more important to point out what they're trying to do to people and how they're trying to get people to think certain ways. And by they, that would be the people who created the movie, right. Or, you know, and who run the system. Of course, that too plays a big part because they're the ones who can say yay or nay on what's put out and what's not put out. You know, like the censor guys or whatever you call it. You know, which is becoming more and more AI these days, unfortunately. But there's that, yeah.
Yeah, when you were talking, it kind of made me think about it, because like whenever I started getting into the whole streaming thing and making my own videos, I went onto LinkedIn and I started doing the LinkedIn learning programs they had on there. And they went through the history of television, and that's something that I would personally suggest people who are interested in doing this kind of stuff go in and learn about, because what you're saying there is true. You know, like they want to alter your way of thinking, because like you take, and I've used this example before, but like you take two pictures. You take a picture of an old lady and a little kid. And you put them side by side, and people see an old lady and they see a little kid, and they got this fuzzy little nice thought going on in their head, right? Well, then you take a pack of cigarettes and you put it in on top of those two, so now you have a picture of an old lady and a little kid and a pack of cigarettes, and that alters your way of thinking because you saw that pack of cigarettes with that. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Every little bit makes a difference, and it's usually under the radar, like subliminal. We don't really notice too much about it, but some of the subliminal stuff is just crazy, like retarded.
Yeah.
How it's supposed to be hidden when it's like not.
It's right in front of your face.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Plain sight, like they say, right?
And then like the for me, it's kind of a little bit of the opposite. Like when it comes to the watching like a science fiction or something that's, you know, just purely entertainment, like sitcoms and stuff, I have to kind of tell myself, look, it's not real, it's supposed to be entertainment, you know what I mean? Because I think that the one thing that most people have an issue with is they watch this stuff and they honestly think that this is the way things are, you know what I mean? Like, you don't sit and watch frickin' Father Knows Best and believe that everything they're showing you on that show, or Leave It to Beaver, is actually real. You know what I mean? Like, families don't really work like that, you know?
Yeah, right, right. Well, you know, there's some folks who probably, I mean, even if you kind of know that that's not how it is, there's still something like implanted in your subconscious about how it, like an idealism kind of thing, you know?
Exactly.
Just a way of keeping the masses in, you know, conform to one way of thinking or one area of belief, so that way it keeps them buying stuff for like Christmas and everything like that. Even though if you look into Christmas, for example, it's complete bullshit. The whole thing is. I mean, it's not even. Yeah, we have the Christmas spirit, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about that at all. There's definitely that, of course, and that's kind of sacred, you know what I mean? But it has really nothing to do with Jesus or anything like that, you know? I mean, not literally. I mean, maybe in people's minds, yeah, but
Yeah, it's
you know,
kind
but that
yeah.
can create egregores, that can create something. And for all I know, that whole thing could be an egregore type of situation, you know?
See,
Yeah.
now you're starting to throw tricky words up like a Gregor. Now,
Egregore. Yeah, it's just an
egregore.
entity or an idea that's actually that exists in the ethers that's created when enough thought energy is put toward it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, like I'm sure there's probably not many folks that don't know about Jesus. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty egregorish a little bit. Um, you know, so
So since you brought that word up, let me ask you something.
sure.
Have you done any kind of research into Prometheanism?
Not too much, but recently actually I've heard quite a bit about it, and uh, more than I knew before. So no, not officially, not enough to speak on that. You know.
Okay, I figured I'd ask because like a lot of people who talk about that usually go further into the whole thing about Prometheanism, and that was one thing that really stuck out to me because like here lately, I don't know if you've noticed it, but like even Jaffe is starting to talk about Gog and Magog.
I have not noticed that. No.
But I've been running into a lot of people that have been discussing that, so it was kind of
Hmm.
interesting because that's how I first learned about Gog and Magog was through Prometheanism and things of that nature. So I figured I'd ask you.
What is that?
Gog and Magog is
Hmm.
a belief that took place, or it's still, I guess you could say, going on in the UK. They were basically the difference between good and evil.
Okay.
So they have a whole kind of thing there, but I don't want to like go that
Yes.
direction if you're not,
Hmm.
because I want to keep it focused on you. I said beforehand I'm going to try to make this a good interview. Let's
Yeah.
let's,
Awesome.
let's focused on you. So now we went over the T-shirt about the television stuff and everything. Now you mentioned the other shirts that you had, and you were talking about a lot of cool stuff like telepathy and shit.
Hmm. Or telepathic is what one of the T-shirts are,
Yeah.
and I'm sure we've all had experiences with telepathicness or being telepathic at some point. Whether we knew that's what it was or not is kind of a different story. But it's just like it's as simple as like you know who's calling you before you answer the phone, and this kind of does go back into like before caller ID and things like that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so or when you've been like, you know, hey, I know what this person's going to say before they say it, and you're like both on the same topic and you weren't discussing it beforehand. Kind of like it's becoming more apparent nowadays because of like our place in the universe and all the energies like getting a lot more intense. So it's becoming more apparent to a lot of folks, to where you know like you don't really have to talk so much about what is actually happening or how you even feel about it. It's more being like transmitted, uh, depending on the person, of course, and everything, you know, about their mind or how they view the world and things. But even that is even going beyond that because I bet if we took a survey, you know, we'd find that, you know, at least probably more than half of the people are experiencing things to where they know what someone's going to say or what someone's thinking before they even express it, you know, in conversations or whatever, you know, whether it's on the phone or in person, or it doesn't really matter because there's no actual like time and space type of thing. It's like once you think about a person, and then like a cord goes out etherically, and it like attaches to that person, and it kind of taps them on the shoulder and says, "Hey, I'm thinking about you." And then the other person's like, "Oh, well, I'm thinking about this person all of a sudden, and then like you guys end up talking or whatever the thing is. But so if your perception is available to where you kind of can sense things like that, usually I would go to say like 9 times out of 10, probably 10, that when you think about a person, it's because they're thinking about you. So it's not like, I mean, there are, differences, of course, and all kinds of things that can be manipulated there. But basically, people are finding out, they're finding out who they really are, and the innate abilities they were born with. Like, we're born being telepathic. That's how it goes. I mean, it doesn't go any other way. I mean, how does a baby even learn to talk, for the love of God? Yeah, from seeing things, there's all kinds of different arguments that can be put up with that, but whatever, because it is what it is. Still, we come through the whole mind wipe, the whole electrocution that makes us forget everything about, our past lives or any place we ever been before this, and we're just kind of stuck here going, what the fuck's going on, man? Why is everybody so fucking crazy? But for the most part, but we still have that spark, and that's really what I made these t-shirts for, is to like to kind of remind people of their spark, their God spark they have inside of them, that, because everything else is trying to put folks to sleep about things, like TV or anywhere you look, really, especially advertising,
Mm-hmm.
for the most part is it's probably why I haven't done any advertising, but for the most part it's like trying to put people to sleep and trying to put that spark out, because the guys with all the money, that created this platform and many others, of course, they don't give a shit about the spark. It's not about the spark. It's about how much cash you can get off of whatever, and not even cash, really. It's about how many, digital numbers you can have wherever, and then use that for whatever. It's basically, it's about power, and the ability to control. So that's fucked up. And anyone who's like a little kid, you come in going, hey, I want to control you. No, not really. There's parts when you get to where you're playing with toys and stuff, and you're like, man, it's my toy, and things like that. But that's what you learn. It's not like, in my opinion, that doesn't come, you don't come in with that sort of thing. But in any case, what's happening now, because of the energies that are coming from like the cosmos, like the center of the fucking cosmos, like source and things, are allowing us to remember who we are and remember the abilities we have, and even like telekinesis, or like like bilocation, because when we have dreams at night, when we go to sleep, we're bilocating, we're going somewhere else, we're there, for all we know, we're there, even though we're sleeping at home in bed or wherever we're at sleeping. So it's kind of, that right there shows you that bilocation is actually something that happens. It's not something that it's made up or whatever. It's an inherent ability that we have, that all humans have. And I'm sure maybe you've heard of the humans that aren't really human.
Yeah.
There's those too. So.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about that. As a matter of
Mm-hmm.
fact, like that's pretty much every time I get on stream, I hear about the humans that aren't humans. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's a pretty common theme. But like when I talk to you though, there's some things that really stick out that I've actually been bringing up that a lot of people don't like to talk about. Now, the one thing I